Hey, welcome back. 2 more stories from Surviving Infidelity. One deals with a woman who seemingly took her cheating husband back, but still holds a lot of anger. The second one deals with a betrayed husband reminiscing on how his wife tried to blame him for her cheating. As always, spelling and grammar mistakes, courtesy of Reddit. Lol. Hey, nobody's perfect. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This story is titled, Found My Self-Respect. To my husband. I've felt so sad and vulnerable lately, not at all like myself. Spending my mornings grinding my teeth, my afternoons curled into a ball, my nights crying in your arms. Asking you how I compare to her. Begging for affirmation that I really mean something to you, despite the way you lied and cheated. Needing to hear that I am the special one, not her. The most beautiful, the most sexy, the most loved. Sometimes you hold me tight and tell me that I am your choice, as if that is the affirmation I'm looking for. You chose me, not her. You're still here with me, right? Something deep inside me hears those words and rages at their stark, obvious inadequacy. Do you think I should be grateful to you for choosing me over A? You chose me the day you married me, you fricker. Then you renegotiated the terms of our marriage without my consent. I did not invite some dim-witted, amoral co-ed into our marriage. You did that. I do not have to be grateful to you for choosing me when there never should have been a choice in the first place. You're right though, you did have a choice. You could have left me for a 3-month acquaintance with low standards. You could have chosen her, knowing she was the type of person who was willing to participate in your dishonesty and betrayal. Crossed your fingers that she wouldn't betray you in the future. Indulged yourself in a sad, fantasy romance without substance. I am not grateful for your crumbs. Do not let your recent experiences confuse me with that type of person. I am your wife, your partner of 15 years, and I have higher standards than that. I understand you may have benefited from A's low standards. It probably felt great to be with someone so easy to please, but that is none of my concern. I know what I need to feel respected in a relationship. You may bristle when I say I had low standards. You may want to reject that truth, but you can't change the facts. She was willing to engage in a relationship with a married man, a known liar by the very nature of what you were doing. She chose a person who could not take her out on dates or introduce her to their family. She chose someone who had limited time and resources for her, who could only give her scraps of time stolen from his real life. Someone who could not promise her exclusivity. She chose someone who fricked her in a public place with no privacy because there was nowhere else to go. She chose to be someone's dirty secret. Maybe that was part of the appeal for her, I don't know. All I know is that my standards are higher than that. Much higher. I am not trying to suggest that I am some perfect prize. I am not perfect. I am a flawed human being just like everybody else. I was a crappy wife and you were a crappy husband. I made mistakes and I own them. I was harshly critical of you. Stingy in showing my appreciation. Even impossible to please when I was at my most resentful. I am freaked up sexually and that may never change because of my childhood trauma. I will probably always need more effort than the average person to have a healthy sex life. I never want to go back to the barren desert that was our sex life after our daughter was born, but I'm sure our future won't always be the glorious frickfest we're enjoying at the moment. There will be challenges. I am far from perfect, but I deserve a man who will be faithful to me. I deserve someone who will fight for me when things get hard. We both fricked up our marriage, but the fact remains that only one of us lied and deceived the other in a deliberate attempt to break our wedding vows. I have been looking for validation from you when it was inside me all along. I am more beautiful. I was more beautiful than her 20 years ago, and I am more beautiful now, at 38, after my body gave you life. I am more sexy. My want knows your want, forged together in the same fire year after year. I am more worthy of love. Unlike hers, my love was never contingent upon fricking someone over. Why am I competing with a girl I should be pitying? How low was her self-esteem to do what she did? How sad her desperate, we can save each other from unhappiness romance. She told you that you were her fricking soulmate, her destiny. Poor clueless child, thinking her destiny was the 38-year-old married man who went down on her in an empty liquor store parking lot. You couldn't even finish the job because you needed to run to Home Depot before going home to your wife and daughter. That was your first date. Excuse me while I cringe. As for you, my husband, my crying days are over. You chose me, great, congratulations on not being a delusional moron. But now the real work begins, convince me to choose you. Comment 1. I understand where you're coming from. I can read the anger and hurt, but your husband is the one to blame here, not A. Truth of the matter is, she doesn't owe you anything. Was it crappy of her? Yes. But at the end of the day, you should be focusing that anger towards your husband. He was the one who wronged you. He was the one who owed you respect and love. I can only imagine the amount of turmoil you must be feeling right now, and for that I'm sorry, but putting the blame and hate on her isn't going to fix anything. It's just taking part of the responsibility from him. Best wishes nonetheless. Comment 2. Good for you, but I don't feel like you have found shite if you aren't leaving this dude. Seriously, he sounds freaking gross. I've seen many couples that do well with reconciliation, for a time. But once the drama is over and things recede to the norm, it all happens again. That's the problem. You don't need a guy who won't cheat when he is on his best behavior, you need someone who won't when he is at his worst. Either way, good luck. Your self-respect is vital, but make sure it's more than a letter. Turn it into action. Comment 3. Stay strong, you deserve much more than that, and if he fails no contact with a fair partner, you owe it to yourself and your daughter to end the shite show, go grey rock and do a 180. This story is titled, It Gets Better My Friends. January 2020, I found out my wife was cheating on me. I was the happiest guy in marriage. It was the life for me. Sure, we had our arguments in marriage. Who doesn't? I think it's healthy to work out differences and be able to grow together. Anyways, I really cared about that girl, would have done anything for her. A few months prior, my ex had gotten a new job. I was very excited for her. It wasn't long before I noticed her behavior changing. Taste in music, clothes, desires to smoke marijuana, and drinking. This was something that really threw me off. We had agreed before marriage we were going to avoid any substances like that. It's trash. I leave for a weekend golf trip with friends. No, this is not a common occurrence. The day I plan to come home, I call her and tell her I'll be home later that evening and that I love her. She never said that she loved me back. This really was odd to me. I push to find out why. She says we will talk when I get home. I have a pit in my stomach, really wondering what is going on. When I get home, she tells me that I've been a terrible husband since we got married and that she had been trying to help me become a better husband, but I just wasn't capable. This really threw me for a loop. I thought things were great. We were so happy together, I thought. I looked up to my wife. I really believed that I had failed somewhere. I legit thought she was an angel and I screwed up. I just couldn't put my finger on it. She proceeded to tell me she was leaving for a few days to stay at her mother's. I was broken. Sat in the shower for an hour or two. My world was torn. Everything I thought my life would be was now uncertain. All the energy, work, time I had put into the marriage was all for nothing. I didn't know. I shot her a text telling her how sorry I was. I just didn't know what I was actually apologizing for. She comes home a few days later and proceeds to tell me I need to leave. I did. Looking back, I can't believe I did. Terrible move. I leave for my parents for a few days. One night my dad asks me why the hell I am still at his home, out of love. And I didn't have an answer. Nothing was making sense. Nothing was being fixed while we were apart. I hopped in my car and drove back home to make this work. Heart is pounding as I opened the door to find her on the couch wide-eyed. She frantically starts texting on her phone. I don't really notice that part, but I remember that. I ask her what I need to do to make this work. She tells me I have to leave, or she will call the police. I'm like, what the hell? This is my home. She tells me she is having friends over for a party. A married couple from church come over who were our friends and they were shocked to see me there. Their arms are full of liquor. Way more liquor than they needed for the three of them. They knew this wasn't okay with me. The husband of the couple couldn't stand to be in the room with me and quickly left for home. I was so confused. Am I really getting divorced and have no idea why? What's going on? I went to bed in my bed. Sick. She is in the living room with her friend quietly. I ask my wife the next morning to go to counseling. She says she doesn't want to. I beg her and finally get her to go. That was pointless. I ask her as we are leaving the appointment if she is dating someone else. She says no. I'm so lost and broken. Driving home, I could care less if a semi-truck hit me head on. That was a dark place to be. I believe in God and I pray a lot. I felt the urge to go to my wife's relatives who I had a good relationship with. I drive up to their home and sit on their couch. They seem to know what's going on between us and they tell me how sorry they are for me and that I shouldn't take this shite any longer. That they aren't surprised this is happening as my ex has done similar things in the past before I knew her. I break down in tears on the couch. Finally, some validation from people who weren't supposed to be on my team. I knew it was over but still didn't know why. I moved money from the bank account. I grabbed valuables from my home since I know she is at a friend's sleeping over. She calls and cusses me out and says a plethora of things I don't remember once she sees money gone. Probably can't write them here anyways. Get ready, the next day I grab a form to get her off my joint bank account. I go to her work to get the paper signed and notarized. I'm leaving the parking lot when a relative of hers calls me and tells me that she has been cheating on me with a coworker this entire time. I break. It felt amazing and sickening at the same time. Amazing because I could finally make sense out of it all. Sick because how could she do this to me? She loved me, was supposed to. When she saw me suffering, how could she not feel bad? When I told her I wanted to die, and she told me that she didn't care and that I should get help. How could someone do this? How could she gaslight me for months? Make me question my sanity. I called her and she admitted to the affair. I said some things in a rage. All I remember is I wanted her to change her last name because she is a disgrace to my family. She still hasn't. Remember, I have had a great life. I surround myself with people I trust. I avoid drama. I don't know how to act when lied to. I loved her to death. I didn't know the guy she had an affair with. I wanted to stop my car and confront the guy. Thank goodness I didn't. I always carry. My emotions were at an all-time high. Crushed. I don't even know if this thread makes sense at this point. It was over. Divorce took longer than I wanted. For some reason she felt entitled to a lot of things. The ring, and basically all our gifts from the wedding. She must have really done some mental gymnastics to make herself feel like a victim. Unconscionable IMHO. All I got from the marriage was a toaster. It's a joke in the family now. I didn't want that stuff anyways. Bunch of horcruxes lol. Also thank goodness we didn't have any kids. I'm here to tell all of you that it gets better. Divorce is not a bad thing. I have a nice townhome now. I'm dating a lot. There are so many great girls. Wow, I have my great job still. Do have much to be thankful for. I can honestly say that I don't hate my ex. She is nothing to me. Like a long lost memory. I don't even remember the color of her eyes or her phone number. Couldn't care less what happens with her as I wouldn't know how to find out if I wanted to. I've cut off contact with everyone in her family. And there were some great people there. I think they all knew what was going on all along. Just glad one of them came clean to me. Once again, hang in there, know your worth. I believe that I have good things coming. I'll look back one day and be so glad my life worked out the way it did. It's all a blur now, and I apologize for the wordy post. I was surprised I couldn't remember a whole lot more. That's a good thing though, right? Comment 1. She had this cheating behavior before. She will have more in the future. Cut her out, and report this incident with HR. No wife material here, don't take her back. Comment 2. Good going, smiley face. I think everyone should be like this guy. If you find out your partner is cheating behind your back and making excuses for going outside to see his or her partner, it shows he or she doesn't care about you and your relationship. So better to confront her or him, but to make it more spicy, you should also start dating outside and buy another house secretly and arrange a new life. Then tell her or him you already knew what was going on since their cheating relationship had started. Then pack a bag and leave the house. And if that house belongs to you, tell her or him to pack their bag and leave the house too. Then sell that house, because it will remind you of the memories which you made with her or him. Then shift to the new house, new life, new struggle, new days. Comment 3. Brother, I am so happy that you are coming out of this crappy ordeal that she put you in. I love it when cheaters have to find a way to justify their cheating by blaming you. You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. Good luck in the future. By the way, don't be surprised if she shows up one day trying to get you back and asks for forgiveness. Thank you so very much for listening. Please check out my other videos and like and subscribe.